Hey guys, Mark Farashi with Protect Dog Training. I was talking earlier when I did my little live Facebook thing that I was trying to figure out what I was going to do today. So what I try to do every day is try to have some kind of accent point, something that you guys can take away from each one of my little videos. And today I thought of the thing that I was taught when I first started getting into dog training, and I was at the training firm in Oakland. The boss wanted to put together a training school, and he was slowly but surely putting information together, and I was kind of the test guinea pig in that regards. And they grew very large, so it became a very big success, and he did pretty good with that. But in general, one of the first things he had me do when I started working for him was to start a training journal. Okay, so every day I would have to go in and I'd sit down with all my dogs, and I'd have my dogs separate. Each dog had a sheet, and he had his name up top and the customer's name and all that good stuff, and then he had plenty of space for you to start writing your notes. And I was required to do that every day, and so it became a habit and a behavior for me. I don't use this habit and behavior as much as I used to, because it's just, I've been doing it for so many years that a lot of this is kind of in my head. But at the same time, these videos that we're doing right now is kind of my training journal for Loki. Okay, so I usually always start some kind of notebook on each dog, and I'll have little key points that I'll point out, especially when I'm trying to track something. So it's a very good idea if you haven't trained a dog before, you're just getting into this, even if you're just an amateur at home trying to take this knowledge that I'm giving you and working your own dog. Start a training journal. Put a date, put the dog's name, and then start a little blurb. And usually it only has to be a paragraph or two. It doesn't need to be much. You're not writing a book, okay? But point out the things that you are wanting to work on, what you're having problems with, and it's a godsend. It's a very valuable tool, because you're going to come back and read through it, and you're going to see where the dog has grown and what problems you were having, and it's a godsend. And when you do that and you compile that over time, you look back and you really are stoked when you have all these different notes on each different dog, and you know you've done the work in each different category. So I don't do it as much as I used to. Like I said, I've already started something on Loki, but I've only got a paragraph in it, and I'm half-assed with it. For you guys that have never done it before, do it and be really diligent. Force yourself to really do it every day. Write yourself a little blurb in there about your training, okay? So again, this one is for Loki, and we're doing it on video, so I'm just going to kind of use this as my training journal in that regards. So right now we're basically getting him started with the basics. We have him going onto a table. We have him starting on the back end awareness on the bowls. We're doing a lot of clicking so that we imprint him with that click, and we're doing that release, explosion release that you hear me saying. Yep, that basically is a break. It says your behavior's done, and you can come running into the food, and you can get into drive and have fun when you hear that yep. And we'll use that table because it gets him grounded, and then he has to learn to wait and listen for his command for the next thing. If you I haven't told you yet, and I will get this in more and more as we go along, the way I condition my animals, because I don't care about sport as much, is my animals are conditioned with dog's name first, preparatory to a command, okay? That means in any action, any movement, I always give the dog's name first, then the command. What that does for me is it allows me to condition the animal, and allows the dog to have that conditioning. When they hear their name, they're conditioned to say, what's up, something's coming. And then you have like a 5 or 6, maybe 8 key behaviors that the dog is used to. The yep is an explosion release, is one of those. I may not give the dog's name on that one, but it's the same kind of a thing, where they get to explode into drive, and it tells them that the behavior is over with, and then they're going into drive, and they get to have the reward, okay? So that's why we call it a terminal bridge marker. It's a terminating behavior, all right? So think about that, do a journal, start writing in it. Maybe I'll bring out one of mine, and I'll start reading a little bit to you, and just start to show you some of the notes that I've taken and what I follow when I'm doing my training program, okay? Sometimes it'll have dog now doing the following: heel, right, left, automatic sit, do. It catches you up, and that's your place there, and now you start to keep building from there. In this case, we're just going to go ahead and do a note that Loki is now doing the bowls and the table, and teaching him explosion release, and the clicker is being imprinted. Something like that. It doesn't need to be much, just something to be able to tie your brain into what you were doing or what you need to work on. Couple paragraphs, not much. Try that. let me know how it goes for you. I'd like to hear some of your guys' notebooks and hear some of your journals. It'd be interesting to see what kind of notes you're taking and what you're accenting as far as what you're working on. And that could help me help you, because I can start to give some feedback on some of those notes. So let me go ahead and get Loki. We're going to bring him out, and I'm just going to work him and try to, I'll chatter a little bit to you, but I'm going to be concentrating on the dog. I need to be more in tune with him and not be in tune and have my brain split into the dog and you folks. So let me go get Loki now. All right, are we ready? And he jumps up here on his own, yes, because he's used to the routine. Now that's a good time to accent to you folks what we've done to prime the pump. I put him in a little holding pen in the morning that he stays in and he gets to eat and go through his daily routine. He sees me walking by all the time. Yep, good boy, good, yay. And right when I open that shed door, we've got a container that the roller door goes up, and he hears that. He sees me grabbing that table. He sees me putting bowls out here. This is the sort of thing that makes you realize that dogs thrive on pattern and routine. So when you work, I usually try to work in the same general time pattern every day. Mornings I find are the best because the dog is hungry after not getting any food all night on his sleep pattern. Yep. And then if I really want to increase my dog's hunger, because we're going to use food deprivation to get him more into the food, okay? So I might hold back a meal the night before so that I know he's good and hungry. I'll work him that next morning with a planned objective. Loki, Loki, yep, good boy, good. And I will hold back food. I won't feed him right away. This morning I screwed up. I had other things I wanted to do, and I was going to take off and go to a buddy of mine's place, but the rainy weather and this cloudy, ugly weather right now, I didn't want to make that drive all the way down to Lake Elsinore to go see him, and he wasn't replying. He's busy too. He's also a professional trainer, which most of my friends are. Yep, good boy, good, because we both have the same passions and things that we get into. So I nixed that idea. Yep, good boy. Good boy, yes, good boy, good. All right, what do you got, huh? What do you got? Are you ready for this, huh? Good boy, all right, ready for this? All right, ready? All right, oh boy, good. Notice how my voice tone is helping him get pumped up a little bit. Yep, oh, good boy, good, yeah. You ready? All right, let's go. Oh, nope. Now I want to get him to grow. Remember what I was talking about? I don't want to get him stalling. So I want to start trying to stretch him and get him to do it without my body pushing him. Yep, good boy, nope. Loki. Good boy, good, yay! Now when they check out like you on that, a lot of it might be that he's getting bored of the same thing. That's why you have to break and move into other things. That's why my method of 2s and 3s is important, because it allows me to break into other things and keep the dog in tune with me versus getting bored and taking off and checking out. This is an issue though. We'll build on this later, where we don't want the dog to check out on us. You see the dogs are doing those focused heels. They've got to keep that dog's attention for a good 18-25 minutes in some of these sports with a focused heel. Yep, good boy, good. And I'm going to break right now because he's showing me he's not that interested. Yeah, yes. And it's because he got fed this morning. So his drive state is a little different because he's not so heavy into the food. And you've got to be able to be aware of that and understand when you see things that you say, oh, wait a minute, I fed him this morning, see? Good boy. So we're going to just go into tug toy and make it fun. Yep. Loki, yes. Yep. Oh, good boy, good. What I was trying to do there is stall and not give him the stimulation and make him come back up. He understands the game now, so I was testing. A lot of times when you do this stuff, you're actually testing. You're probing certain things to see where the dog's at. Yep. Oh, good boy, good. That's my boy, good. That's a good boy, that's good. That's a good boy, good. And a lot of these little moves you see are basically the same thing that they're going to do when they put pressure in the decoy. The same picture. Dogs learn in pictures. And I was a really good trainer that talked about that and accented that in his training videos, was talking about pictures and how a dog learns. So I try to give him as much as I can. And I'll have a little lecture part here coming up where I talk about body profile in decoy work, how important that is. A lot of times they don't teach you this in sport as much. You have to learn it with time. But I like to break it down the way I was taught as a kid. I had a friend of mine was my mentor up at in Oakland that was a small black dude. His name was OJ of all things, but he was a Vietnam vet. And he had went through special forces, and as he was telling me the stories, they put him out on point all the time. Back in the 60s, there was still a lot of prejudice going on and all that. And so, but he was a canine handler. He got into the Dobermans real heavy. He was the first one to really get me to understand the Doberman, and because he loved the breed so much. And nowadays, I'm pretty familiar with him myself because of what I went through with him, and then some of the dogs I've worked. Good boy. Every breed's a little different in their natures. Good, that's a boy, good boy, good. So he taught me a lot of things as far as when I started to do my decoy work that's more applicable to real life in how to build a dog. And I don't see any of it being put forward nowadays in the way they teach the decoys and they do things with the kids getting out there on the field. They learn it, eventually they start to learn to read the dog a little better and understand it, but I teach a whole different way. I give a breakdown exactly how I would build a dog, and I teach my decoys the same way, trying to give them some of these same skills, if they'll listen and if they'll want to learn. So, and a lot of them see me and they don't see me do much decoy work now. Well, I'm getting a little older, and I don't need to do that decoy work if I can find the right decoys. And there's plenty of them out there, but I really am selective with those people. I don't let anybody touch my puppy that I don't think is going to understand what he's doing. Because they're so impressionable at this age, one wrong thing and it could screw up the dog for the rest of his life, or it really cost me a lot of work to try to recoup on that and counter condition whatever they may have done, because these behaviors get set in. So I have a certain style of behavior that I like to do, getting the dog to hit up top and hit center mass. When I get done, basically you can teach a dog to hit anywhere on your body, and that guy I was telling you about, the Vietnam vet, taught me that. I can basically teach a dog to hit you in the throat, hit you anywhere, it doesn't matter. Will I do that? No, because we have to have a lot of legalities and a lot of things we have to deal with. It's not a war situation. But I learned what he learned in the military, is teaching a dog to explode out of the bush and 0 to 60 and take out the man as fast as they could. They've got weapons, they can kill them, and so they want them out and done and over with as quick as they possibly can. So that's kind of my style. That's why my dogs come at you so fast and hit so hard. It's because of the way I build the puppy, and I'll get into some of that as we go along. All right, good boy. And all I'm doing right now is making it fun. I'm really not teaching him anymore. Loki, I'll trade you. Yeah, good boy, I'll trade you. Good. So I'm going to take Loki out on the agility right now and kind of get him used to going up some things. I'm waiting for his body to catch up. He's so big, but he's clumsy because of that, and he's not really able to jump yet way up on tables and do stuff. He doesn't have the dexterity, the balance and everything's not there yet. Everything's still lining up. It takes practice. So I'll find something that's relatively easy, like I was talking about the park benches, and now I've got this little bench over here in front of that big palisade there that I'll be working with. And I'll get him into drive and get him more into the agility. I need that agility to keep going on the work. So good boy, good. I'll see you later. So your accent point today, guys, was start a journal. Start writing in a journal, take a couple paragraphs, doesn't need to be much, and then go from there. So that was your diamond in the rough, your little nugget for today, okay? And I'll talk to you guys a little later. This is going to get a little boring because I'm going to be doing the same thing for a little bit in building, but you're going to see how it develops if you keep watching us. Mark Farashi with Protect Dog Training, and Loki. Say bye-bye. Good boy. All right. Say bye-bye. You're such a good-looking boy. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.